Hello. Didn't expect to see you here. So we are in the middle of a nasty heat wave. So dogs are going to sit this one out because you and I are going to have a little chat about the number one question I get asked, hands down, far and away above everything else. What is it? You'll have to stay tuned. I'm Chris, and this is Adventure Dogs. I need to run some errands, so I'm going to bring you along with me. Let's get to it. So the biggest question I get asked is about bringing your dogs across the border. Fair enough. It can be convoluted. The biggest thing to remember is if you're bringing your dog from the United States to Canada, it has to have a rabies vaccination certificate. End of story. This is where it gets complicated. If you are bringing your dog from Canada to the United States, and the dog has only ever lived in Canada, which is considered a low-risk rabies country, it doesn't have to have a rabies certificate, which is actually pretty new, because a little while ago, if you didn't have a rabies certificate, there was all these other steps that you had to take. If you are from a low-risk country but have been to a high-risk country in the past 6 months, there's some other steps that you have to take. And if you've been to a high-risk country, there's even more steps you have to take, which involve like a CDC vaccination certificate and microchips and all that other stuff. So technically, can you cross the border from Canada to the United States without a rabies certificate? Yes, you can. I've never done it. I always have the dog's rabies certificates in the glove box, and it's right there. They're like, do they have certificates? I'm like, yes, they do. It's like a magic trick. Woohoo! So I don't know if it would always be, I don't know if it would go as smoothly as it does with certificates as it does without. Bottom line is, check the websites. So the CDC is the big one as far as the rabies, and then there's the USDA, which does more like the food type stuff. Go to those websites, give yourself at least a month and a half to 2 months ahead of schedule, because things change, as we saw. I mean, I don't know if you remember or if you noticed, but a couple of years ago, the whole world shut down because of a virus. Because, hey, the governments, they're fickle. I think they spin a bottle, like, or dart at a board, and they're like, hey, what are we going to change today? So as far as that's concerned, and that's really the biggest thing, take the time and check that out. But right now, it's pretty simple. And like, that's the most complicated part of the trip. Stop number 2. I make t-shirts on the side, and I accidentally bought the wrong one, so I had to go and fix it all up. Okay, so the other thing you have to think about when you're taking your dogs across the border is food. Do they have a food that you can find everywhere? If you're driving your food from Canada to the United States, you can bring a maximum of 50 pounds, and it has to be sealed. And you got to keep the receipt handy in case they ask for it. I usually keep the receipt in with the vaccination records. If you have non-shelf stable food, like it needs to be refrigerated, then you need to have the country of origin, the proof of country of origin. Now, if you're flying, then there is a 20-pound limit, although I don't know why anyone would fly with 20 pounds of dog food. Like, can you just imagine the baggage fees on that one? And if that isn't a concern for you, you can send that money my way, because that just boggles the mind. Which is why I feed the dogs food that I can find pretty much anywhere across Canada, and it does exist in the States. So in the odd case where we have run short of food, I have been able to get it from a pet store. Ironically, the same bag that is holding the t-shirt that I just replaced. No trip into town is complete without treats. I just dropped one, but I mean, look at how cute this is. So one thing about food is you'll want to do research about where you're going to before you leave, because sometimes there are restrictions on certain kinds of meat products. For example, a little while ago you could not bring goat or sheep products into the United States, and I never did get an answer as to why that was. But as of 18 hours ago, I checked the website and that's no longer in place. And then there's always the possibility of, I mean, does anyone remember mad cow from a few years ago, and chicken flu type of thing if you're doing the raw route and things like that. So just take a quick second, check the website. I'll make sure the websites are posted so that you can find that quickly and easily. Another stop. Local brewery. Surprise? I'd say not. So, another thing about the food, Canada has a limit of 20 kilograms. So, a little less than 50 pounds. So, there you go. About the same. I'm going to tell you my process when I get to the border. First off, shades off. Music off. Window down. Passport is open to the page that has my face and my name on it, my details, and I have the dog's records in my lap ready to go. The dogs, they get excited. The border is exciting. I don't know if I said it before, I'm saying it again. The border is exciting for dogs. It's chaotic. They're going to ask you things like purpose of your visit, where you're going, how long you're staying, are these dogs yours? Are you going to see anyone? Roll down the window so I can see inside, especially if your windows are tinted. They want to make sure no one's hiding in there. Some of the people at the border, I don't know if the proper term is border agent, border guard, they'll actually ask if they can pet the dogs, if they can give them a cookie. A lot of them are just great. And as long as you don't act like an entitled dick, they're fine. And you have to understand that they have a job to do. Like, you have to know that there are people going across who are lying about why they're going across, or how long they're going across, or what they're going to do when they're across. And they have to find it. And the only way they can find it is by asking you questions. So just be polite, be respectful, even if you think they're being a dick. And I've had some that have grilled me, and I'm like, dude, qu'est-ce que le F, right? Like, I'm just going to vacation. And so I'm getting a good kick out of it. Like, I told one guy I was ghost hunting in Charleston. He laughed, and he's like, you could see he stopped. It was just like, what? But, they're human beings. Be cool. They'll be cool. And if you go to secondary, then you go to secondary. Like, there you go. Like, that's literally all it is. So I think we're pretty much done in town. I have done more than I needed to do. I did not plan on going to the brewery. I actually had a lovely time sitting there, just enjoying a flight. Brewery just opened up after a tornado last year. So it's a little bit of groceries, I think, or maybe not. Let us stroke our beards knowingly. I might be up to something else. That's about it. I mean, taking your dog across the border really isn't that complicated. Have a rabies vaccine. If you're going into the U.S., you may or may not need it. If you're going into Canada, you have to have it. And don't pack more than 50 pounds of food, and make sure your food is sealed. You are... Did you see that? I think there's a bun. Let's go find the bun. I didn't see the bun. I think it hopped. So relax, pack your dog, pack your food, pack your truck, that sounds like a really bad song. and have fun out there. So hopefully we'll see you. Thanks for coming along with me today, and I'll let you know how the sushi turns out. Peace out. So, some chews. Here you go, big man. Here you go, pretty girl. Hi, Leo. But that's not enough for you? Okay, it is. I think the dogs are actually interested in what this weird sounding thing is. Yeah, King takes it now, but hey, Lily, you'll get it back. You always do, don't you, pretty girl? One more thing, and this isn't so much about crossing the border as when you get to wherever you're going. Some places have enacted breed-specific legislation, and let's just call it what it is, a pit bull ban. For the most part, it affects pit bulls and pit bull dogs. If you're just passing through, I don't think anyone would have any issues. Just keep your dog on leash and keep them away from other dogs. You're passing through. But if you're planning on using a place as your base of operations, do yourself the favor, call in advance. Call to the place that you're staying. Like if you're staying at a hotel or a B&B, Airbnb, whatever, take a few moments, actually speak to someone and say, hey, is there a pit bull ban? Call that area's tourist thing, tourist board and all that, and ask them, are there any dog restrictions there? Just save yourself the hassle. I mean, yeah, you might be able to get through without it, but people are jerks, and I wouldn't put it past, even if their dog was at fault, I still think that there are horrible human beings out there, and they would blame your dog, who probably did nothing, and oh, but it's a pit bull. Like, their dog can go crazy. Don't worry, they're friendly. But if you have the pit bull, your dog is the problem, right? Can you guess what I think about that? And some places it's city, some places it's municipal, some place it's regional, state, province, whatever. Just do yourself a favor. Like I said, no one cares if you're just passing through, but if you're staying anywhere for any length of time, make the phone call and just save yourself the hassle. There's that. Ta.